Hey everybody, got a little update on this 10mm Undead army for Warband. These are Pendraken minis, 10mm on 60 by 30mm bases. I mentioned before this is the 6th army that I've painted, and there's at least one more to come after this, at least. Maybe we can just stop there at this point, but who knows. I do enjoy painting 10mm. These guys I'm going pretty fast with. I'm not saying I'm doing a bad job, but I'm not doing an amazing job. Not to say that I usually do an amazing job, but I think I put more work into some of the other armies. But these guys are just skeletons with weapons, and they don't have any belts or buckles or anything that any real details. The only ones that really have details are the horses, and I'll show you what I did with that momentarily. You'll see that I used black for their bases, which is different. All the other Warband armies have brown bases, dark brown, with some green flock for some kind of foliage. For these guys, I'm going with black for like a dead landscape. They are an undead army, and it's some kind of like, blighted landscape. I'm probably going to use these colors for flocking and like tiny mini shrubberies or what have you, as opposed to the green that I normally use. And I think that gives a good idea of like death or deserty or dead desert, something like that. Anyway, let's look at some of the models as I talk about them. So as of this morning, the models actually all these bases were just plain sand, and these skeletons were primed. But I've done a few hours of work, and I don't want to think about all the other things I could have been doing around the house and for work and stuff. But I do have to go to the gym soon, so at least I'm having to stop now and do more of this later. But I put black on the base, put a whole bunch of colors on everybody, and here we are. So they're pretty much ready for a wash, which will get them to look like this guy on the end. He was a test figure, so he was primed earlier. The horse was just primed, no colors on it. I gave it a Griffin Sepia wash, GW's old wash, and this is what they're pretty much going to look like. The horses, I've added various flesh tones to, or muscle or blood, or there's going to be bone in there. I don't know how it's going to look. It might look actually really gross, but and I don't mean like in an undead way. I mean like just a bad paint job way. But I want to give them like various states of decay and zombification, because the sculpts kind of lent themselves to that. I don't know what it's going to look like. We're going to see soon enough when I put the wash on, but pretty much the skeletons are going to look like this guy, which I'm happy with, and I think Andrew's happy with as well. I'm going to add a little color into the eyeballs for their reanimation effect, probably green in their eyeballs, but we'll see for sure. So that's the horses, and there's 2 units of those guys. There are a bunch of these, or 2 units of these hand weapon dudes, and some of these I can tell which ones were painted earlier by Andrew. And I just noticed in one of the other takes of this video, because this is not take number 1. This is, I think it's like take 20. Some of these guys have some clothing, so I actually have to add the clothing before I add the wash. So anyway, so basically painted, nothing fancy, nothing special. I'm sure Andrew will be fine with that. But they are great models again, and 10mm. Of course, there are sculpts that are way better in 15 and 28mm, but I'm happy with the look of all the armies that I've painted, and I love the sculpts. And I did buy some. I'm buying more 10mm from Pendraken. I'm just still waiting for the American War of Independence models that are in the mail. I need them to come now because I need to paint them. I'm very excited for that. This was another test guy, but I added the silver and the brown, a couple touch-ups on his legs, so he's going to get another quick bit of wash when the other guys do. And yeah, the wash will bring out some of the details. And yeah, they're sculpted nicely. And then archers. So they will get their tufts at the bottom and their basing, and they'll look so much better when they're all done. These are this is the leader. I guess a necromancer. I haven't even thought of really how I'm going to paint these guys, so they'll be last. Hopefully they don't end up like the lizard command unit that doesn't actually get finished. along with the rest. So there's only 4 dudes on here, and I think they'll be pretty easy. I just have to figure out how I'm going to do it. And then they're going to get probably a dry brush of this little rocky mound. I think the intent was it was going to look a little different, but I think they'll be fine. All right. Anyway, that's an update. Probably the next time you see these guys, they will be all done. And apparently Andrew does have more. So maybe I'll be working on more bases of these guys in the near future. But that's it for today. That's the Undead Army by Pendraken for Warband. Thanks for watching, and come back soon. See ya. Bye.